We have discussed current, electricity previous class also. So we are going to discuss in continuation current, electricity only, and this is a second lecture for the same. Now today we are going to study about Ohm's law, resistance, resistivity, conductance, conductivity, and how the resistivity and resistance, they are dependent upon the temperature. We are going to study about different type of resistors and color coding of the carbon resistors, and of course we will study the limitations of Ohm's law also. To begin with Ohm's law. Ohm's law, it is of course after the name of the scientist Simon Ohm only, and he gave this law in 1828. And what he observed that when we are able to maintain the potential difference across the ends of any conductor, then what happens, whatever is the amount of current flowing, that is proportional to the potential difference applied across the ends of that conductor. So this is statement that the electric current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across the two ends of the conductor. Of course, the condition is that temperature and other physical conditions should remain unchanged, because if we change the temperature, then the things will not come out to be same, which we will study in the next slides. So this is simply the statement, and you have to keep this statement in your mind, that I is directly proportional to V. This is by statement. By statement, because in Viva also, whenever you will be doing that, this is taken as an experiment also to find the resistance, which is the proportionality constant. When I write V directly to I, then only I am getting this R as the proportionality constant, which is termed as the resistance, which is the opposition offered to the flow of the charges. This is denoted by capital R. And if we do the graph plotting, as I have said, I is proportional to V. So V here is independent variable. We will be taking it along the x-axis. Current being dependent upon the potential will be taken along the y-axis, and slope of this graph will give me the value of the resistance, which is the proportionality constant. This experimental verification, you people will be doing it in the lab. It is one of your experiment in your syllabus. This is the symbol for the resistance, and for variable resistance we simply put an arrow on it, that is showing the symbol for the variable resistance. Rheostat works as the variable resistor, and this is simply when no arrow is put, this is a fixed resistor. So whatever conductor we have taken that offers some resistance, that so I can replace that conductor here by R resistance, whatever is offered by that conductor. And voltmeter is a device to measure the potential difference, which is to be applied parallel, and ammeter is always to put in series. So this is the circuit diagram which is made for doing the experimental arrangement of the things. Whenever we have to verify Ohm's law experimentally, then we will change by simply moving the rheostat here we can put, or simply we can change the potential difference by changing the voltage from the battery. Both the ways we can do. So if I am changing it from the battery, potential difference will get changed, and then with reference to that the value of current can be measured. And we are getting a straight line graph with a slope, and slope of this graph is giving me the value of the resistance. And this whole study was initially done by the scientist Ohm. So how to define the resistance is very important. That is, of course, for a given conductor we are defining it. It is the property by virtue of which it opposes the flow of electric current through it. So resistance is the property of the conductor which is giving the opposition to the flow of electric current. Formula we have already seen, that is V upon I. This is very important. SI unit of resistance is ohm, which is of course named after the name of the scientist only, and 1 ohm is equals to 1 volt divided by 1 ampere by this formula of the resistance. So you can define 1 ohm, that is, if the current of 1 ampere flows through a conductor by applying the potential difference of 1 volt, then resistance which is offered by the conductor is said to be 1 ohm. and this is the symbol for the ohm. You need to keep this symbol in your mind. Now, if I want to write the resistance in terms of the first laws, we say, or we can say, write the Ohm's law in reference to the basic laws whichever we have studied in the previous class about the drift velocity. And there, when we took a conductor, when I'm taking a conductor, and if I'm supposing that L is the length of the conductor and E is of course the direction of the electric field, when this potential difference is applied with the help of the cell, then positive terminal is the bigger line, negative terminal is the smaller line. So positive charges will flow this way, and positive charge is giving me the direction of flow of current, and electrons of course are getting drifted in the opposite direction, and that is why we are keeping the negative sign when we write the formula for the drift velocity. Vd it is equals to minus E tau upon m. E is the electronic charge. This formula we derived in the previous class, and this relation between the current and drift velocity was also derived, that I it is equals to NEA Vd. Now, if I'm saying that E is the electric field, V is the potential difference, L is the length of the conductor, then I can write E it is equals to V upon L. So, I can replace E by V upon L. So, this is the modified formula with me for the drift velocity in terms of the potential difference applied, that is V. Now, if you put this value of Vd in this formula of I, then you are getting the value of I, it is equals to Ne square A tau upon m into V upon I. But by Ohm's law, V upon I is a constant, that is equals to the resistance. So this V upon I, it is equals to the resistance, and so resistance of any conductor, it depends upon your mass N E square tau and area of cross section of that conductor. A is of course the area of cross section of this conductor. This is all we have discussed in detail also. So from here you can see, if I replace rest of the thing with a constant, and then I'm getting R equals to rho L upon A. Here this L is the length of the conductor, A is the area of cross section, and rho is the symbol for the specific resistance. So it means on what factors the resistance R is depending. It is depending upon the length of the conductor, it is depending upon the area of cross section, inversely proportional to the area of cross section, and rho, which is the specific resistance or resistivity, this will be dependent upon the nature of material. So these are the three factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends: of course length, area of cross section, and nature of the material. So this formula is very, very important, that R it is equals to rho L upon A. Two type of resistors are there which we are using in our day-to-day life, like in the lab when you will be working, we will be working with wire bound resistors. It means they are just thin wires of different materials. Basically these are used, metal alloys are used, like manganese we are using, and constantan is also being used, though manganese is the improved version. By changing the composition, we are simply making an alloy of copper, manganese and nickel. We are using, these are the alloys which are used to make the resistance wires, but we are not using it for commercial purpose because these are very costly. And another disadvantage is that we have to take a longer length to make the resistance wire, so not handy also. So cannot be used for commercial purposes because of these two reasons. So we are in the circuits, when you take out the green plate from your computer, you can see we are using the carbon resistors, which are basically made up of carbon, simply by melting it in the form of cylindrical form. Of course these are low cost and high values can be given. So commercial purpose we are using the carbon resistors. So why we are taking these materials to make the wire bound resistors? The characteristics are generally asked in Viva as well as in exam. You should be knowing that nichrome, constantan and manganese, which are used in wire bound resistors, because of their properties like low temperature coefficient, high resistivity and their mechanical strength. These are the characteristics. Temperature coefficient should be low so that with the change in temperature the resistance is not changing. Resistivity should be high. It means the smaller lengths can give you the high value of the resistance, and mechanical strength should be there, of course, to hold them for a longer time. And this is also asked in your exams, that on the basis of color coding you find the value of the given carbon resistor, or they may give you the value and ask you to give you the colors. So this table should be understood. This is simply a diagram for the carbon resistors, which you will observe practically also, that there are 4 color bands are there, and this color coding table should be known to you, that black is for 0, brown is for 1, 1 to 9 numbers are given, which can be remembered in a way like black is 0, brown is 1, white all colors 9 and gray is 8. Then this is your Vipure, that violet, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Black no color means 0, white all colors means 9. So this way you can remember this table, and whenever you have to take their multipliers, these values only has to be the powers of 10 to take the multipliers. So whenever I have been given with some color on the of the carbon resistor, like this is red color will give me the first digit, that is 2. Second color will give me the second digit, orange means 3. So 2 and 3. Third color will give me the multiplier, third color is yellow, yellow means 4 number, so it is 10 raised to the power 4. So it is 23 into 10 to the power 4 ohm is the resistance. But the last color will give me the tolerance limit, which is generally gold or silver or no color. So gold, if it is, then 5% tolerance is there. It means 23 into 10 to the power 4 ohm. I can use this resistance in a circuit where less or more than 5% of this is required. If silver color is there, then means 10%. If there is no color, then there is 20%. These 3 tolerance limits you have to keep in mind. Though for the different colors, now latest discovery, these are the tolerances, but these are generally not asked in CBSE. These 3 colors and this digit multiplier should be known to you with their color coding. This much should be known, which can be asked used in 1 markers, and otherwise in numerical problems or in conceptuals they may ask one or the other way. Of course, we will discuss numeric questions based on this also in the coming lectures. Now, if I want to define the resistivity of a conductor, resistivity or specific resistance meaning is same. It is dependent upon the resistance, as we have seen R, it is equals to rho L upon A. So, if L is 1 and area of cross section is also unity, then resistivity becomes equals to the resistance of that conductor. It is resistivity or the specific resistance. It is equals to the resistance of the conductor if the material has unit length and unit area of cross section. So units for this, of course, is ohm meter, because R L upon A. So this is unit of R is ohm, and for L upon A it will be 1 upon M meter. So difference is what? That resistance and resistivity, that of course resistance depends upon the nature of material as well as dimensions of the conductor, but resistivity depends only on the nature of the material. So depending upon the different materials, I can classify even the materials on the basis of their resistivity. That also can be done. So resistivity of the material, otherwise if you want to go in more detail, as this formula is with us, that rho it is equals to m upon n e square tau. So it depends upon the mass of the charge carrier, number density n, electronic charge E, and relaxation time. Relaxation time tau, which is of course dependent upon the temperature. So we have to find. that because when the temperature is increasing, then what is happening to the relaxation time? It decreases. So rho is inversely to tau. So resistivity will increase. So resistivity, it means it is directly proportional to the temperature. And if anybody is asking you what is the cause of the resistance, then of course it depends upon the relaxation time. When the electrons are moving, then how they are colliding with each other and how much is the relaxation time. On the basis of that only causing the resistance in the conductors. So these can be the various questions which can be asked directly or indirectly from you. Now, what is conductance and conductivity? Conductance is simply the reciprocal of resistance, which is denoted by a capital G, which is equals to 1 upon R. And R unit is ohm. So, unit of conductance can be ohm inverse, or it can be written as mho or Siemens. And conductivity is the reciprocal of resistivity. So, sigma, it is equals to 1 upon rho. And its unit is of course inverse of resistivity. Resistivity units were ohm per meter. So you can write it is equals to ohm inverse, meter inverse, or Siemens meter inverse, or of course you can write it mho per meter also. Difference between the conductance and conductivity. Now if I want to write the relation between the current density J, your conductivity, and E, electric field, then we have discussed using Ohm's law, V is equals to IR. So R value we are knowing, it is equals to rho L upon A. So it means V upon L can be written as I rho upon A. And E, this is because V upon L is nothing but the E. So E can be written as I rho upon A. So you can write E upon rho equals to I upon A. I upon A, you know, current per unit area is equals to the current density J, and 1 upon rho, it is equals to sigma. So we can write J equals to sigma cross E. This is actually the vector form of Ohm's law. In vector form, we can write it in terms of current density, yours conductivity, and electric field. So this form also should be known to you, which is the vector form of Ohm's law, or they may ask simply to give you the relation between J, sigma, and E. Whatever way the question can be asked. Now, as we have discussed, resistivity and resistance, it depends upon the temperature. So when the temperature is increasing, number of collisions increases, relaxation time decreases. So resistance or resistivity, both are increasing. So it has been found that resistance, it is equals to rho naught. Rho naught means resistivity at absolute temperature is equals to 1 plus alpha T minus T naught. T minus T naught is the change in temperature. Similar to like we used to find in the solids when we did in class 11, linear expansion and all we did. Similar to that, this formula has been derived, and from there you can take the value of alpha, it is equals to rho minus rho naught divided by rho naught T minus T naught. So rho is directly to the change in temperature or depends upon the temperature. Similarly, this alpha, we are calling it as the temperature coefficient. Alpha is the temperature coefficient for resistivity. Similarly, if I want to write temperature coefficient for resistance, it is written in the similar way, R minus R naught divided by R naught T minus T naught. T is the temperature at which you are finding the thing, T naught at the 0 degree Celsius. Of course, the units for temperature coefficient is degree per degree centigrade. SI unit for temperature coefficient is per degree centigrade, and these formulas are already known to you for R and resistivity. It means resistance and resistivity. So both are dependent upon the temperature, because with the change in temperature, relaxation time is changing, and hence resistance and resistivity is also changing. You are asked with the graph for the conductor, this value of alpha is found to be positive. We are getting an increase in the resistivity with the increase in temperature. This diagram, your graph is for alloys like manganese or constantan. The slope is very less. So it means alpha is positive but very small, so hardly temperature is getting affected. As we have discussed, these materials are chosen because their temperature coefficient is small. It means alpha is small, and because of that we are using it for making the resistance wire. So this should be very clear to you. For semiconductors, alpha is negative. I can say exponential relation is there. It is decreasing with the increase in temperature. But of course, the semiconductors we will discuss in more detail in the last unit years. So there, this thing also will be repeated. So these all things are very linked with each other. This is simply a table for the resistivity of some materials. Temperature coefficients has been given for the different materials, and resistivity is also given for your reference. And superconductors, you should know that these materials, they behave like conductors. If a body is cooled below a certain temperature, then the body starts behaving like a conductor. Always conductor means no resistance is offered, so those are superconductors. So this is simply for conductors. This table is, superconductors will not offer any resistance at all. Should be known to you for your general awareness. This is about the limitations of Ohm's law, or you can be asked to classify between the ohmic and non-ohmic conductors. Of course, ohmic conductors we have studied that VI graph is a straight line with a slope. So it means they are obeying Ohm's law. But there are certain materials, certain conductors are there which are not obeying Ohm's law. So graph, even for the conductors, it goes a straight line up to a particular temperature. If you are changing the temperature, then the deviation is there. That is non-ohmic conductor. So these both are shown here, ohmic and non-ohmic conductors. The for ohmic conductor, graph is going to be a straight line with a slope. For non-ohmic, there will be variation from the straight line graph. Similarly, this is the graph for the diodes, where V and I depends upon the signs, means with the change in the potential in the negative direction, again the value of currents can be seen. This also you will be doing as an experiment in your lab. This is again another graph which is again for non-ohmic conductor, means not a straight line. So graph is varying, non-linear relations, negative resistance is there. This graph is actually for gallium arsenide. So these are the different conductors, but they are not obeying Ohm's law. So these are known as non-ohmic conductors. So you should be knowing that VI graph for the ohmic conductors starts from the origin and are straight lines inclined at a certain angle, but graphs for the non-ohmic conductors may or may not start from the origin and they are non-linear. So this is generally asked to name few non-ohmic conductors and give their examples, or they can ask their graphs. So these all should be known to you. Keep things like this. Thank you.